she was bruising from them poking her so much, of trying to draw blood, take the fluid off her lungs and things like that. So I told him, let God will be done. Let God will be done. And his will was done. There was not anything in my mind not knowing where my mother was going. And I was at peace. My soul was most definitely at peace with her transitioning, because I had done everything for my mother. Everything a daughter could possibly do, even in my long distance. And I look back on it and I think that me moving to Arizona was a way of God getting me ready for her no longer being in my life. And that's one thing that I think of and I'm grateful for. I really didn't want to move to Arizona, but I got the blessing from my mother, because she said, you do everything for us and you don't live your life. It is time for you to go live your life, because I most definitely have lived mine. So she gave me the blessing to go to Arizona. October 31st, Halloween of 2019, I told both of my parents, I'm going to move home. The first thing my mama said to me was, you better get settled. November the 20th, 2019, the day of our birthday, I noticed something was wrong. So that's how in tune I was with my mom, with my dad. I knew on our birthday something was not right about my mom. So I also got the question of, where did you come up with the 45 days hashtag he grieved, right? So soon as my dad, I started realizing that he was trying his best to get to my mother. I knew he was grieving from day one, but he was trying more of being strong for us and being strong for the family and not really letting us know that. But my dad had started moving so much to the side of my mom's bed to where he started getting a bed sore. Even though I would move him, or my sister would move him closer to his side, when you would go in there to check on him or to wake him up, he is leaning towards my mother's side. So you can never imagine sleeping with someone 60 years and they're gone. I couldn't imagine how he felt having to go back in that room and my mom not be there. I couldn't imagine sleeping in the same bed that I've slept with this person for 60 years next to me and they're no longer there. So that's why I say he grieved. Even with him and I just watching TV, there was a time where I'm talking to my dad and I'm saying, Dad, he loved horses, because my dad used to be a horse racer. He used to be a buggy horse racer. So we would watch those shows because that's what he loved to do. And so one night we're watching it and I'm saying to him, Dad, you want to go get in the bed? He says, no, but you're not looking at the TV. I don't say that to him, but he's not looking at the TV. He has his head down. And so I noticed that his right leg was leaning on the left. So I went and got a pillow and put it between his legs. So I'm always taking pictures. I'm always capturing the moment. So something says, take a picture. I took a picture of my dad. And when I went back and looked at the picture, it had blue dots around the picture. And it blew me away. I remember running into the den to my sister saying, I don't know what else to do. I have done everything possible that I feel to help my daddy. And I just don't know what else to do. And, those blue dots to me represented something. And those blue dots was like my mama was coming to get her king. And people say, well, why do you feel that? Why did you think those blue dots represented it? Well, my mama's favorite color is blue. So the next day, my items come from Arizona, and I'm at the storage unit while they're unpacking this big old 18-wheeler truck. And I get a phone call from my sister saying that Dad is pretty sick. Do you want me to wait on you? or just take him to the hospital. So I said, no, go ahead and take him. When they get finished here, I'm going to come meet you. So it's like we're back doing this again. So that was Monday. And that was it was kind of funny how it was a Monday, and then I think it was February 26th. And she took him in, and we're in the hospital, we're in the emergency room, and we take a picture. You could see death in my dad's eyes. Even though he's still alert, he looked like death. He looked like he is ready to see his queen. And I knew, I just went through this 45 days ago. The 45 days come because when my mama took her breath to he taking his last, it's actually 45 days to the T. So that's where I get the 45 days from. So when we are, in the emergency room and they're telling us that they're going to admit my dad, we're like, okay. But there's nothing wrong with him, is what I want everybody to understand. There's nothing wrong with my dad. He just stopped eating. He stopped taking his meds because he knew that if he stopped doing that, he could get to my mother. So they took him up, and we're going up on the elevator, and the person that's pushing my dad in the bed pushes floor 10. Now, what's so significant about floor 10 is because, guess what? That's exactly where my mother was. Floor 10. Okay? So we get off the elevator. We make a left, to go to the rooms. They got 4 pods. 1 hallway, 2 hallways, the 3rd hallway, and the 4th hallway. We make a slight left by the nurse station and a slight right. Me and my sister looked at each other. We could not believe it. We're going down the same hallway. The same hallway. And the first thing that comes to mind is, if they turn left to this first room, I'm going to lose it. Do you guys know that they turned left? I was like, this can't be happening. This can't be real. This cannot be happening. The same floor. So guess what we're having to do? We're having to deal with the same nurses that we just dealt with our own parent, with my mama just a few weeks ago. So they turn left, but they don't go in my mother's room. They go right next door. So if my mom had still been living with my dad in that bed, they would have been facing each other. The only thing separated them was a wall. Now, mind you, there's nobody in my mom's room. The bed is perfectly made up, as if it's like a hotel suite. And he's right next door. So we're having to deal with the same nurses, the same doctors. And then one of the nurses who actually had been off says to me, "How's your mom?" I said, "She passed." She just looked. Because she knew what we knew. And she knew what he was trying to do. So my dad was there for a whole week, and I remember, me and my sister would do shifts. I work, she's in the daytime, I sleep there at night. And I just remember one night that my dad was really in the ripple. He wouldn't be still, he wouldn't be quiet, he was making these noises, but yet he's not in pain, he doesn't want to eat, and he's not talking, he's just going through the transition, as they say. And I remember one time just taking the last selfie, and I told him that. I said, "Dad, this is our last selfie together." And I started work my first day, March 4th. What is March 4th? March 4th is my grandmother's birthday, which is my mother's mom. And I remember starting my shift, and I was calling, my sister, making sure he was okay. My dad's siblings had came down, and they was with him all day. And I remember walking out of work. It was 8:15 p.m., March 4th. And all I could see was the hospital number coming across my phone. Now, my car hadn't made it here from Arizona yet. So Nietzsche was picking me up, and it's like, here we go down this road again, because they're calling, telling me to get to the hospital. And here we are doing this same ride again to my dad. So I call my sister, she called my brother. We all meet up at the same exact time downstairs. We're all on the elevator together, right? We're hitting this hallway once again, and we open that door, and my dad's gone. I didn't break. I just was in, like, wow. 7 days later, you know, they say 7 is the completion of things. So 7 days later, after him going in, he's gone. He's just there. And I began to cry, and I remember Nisha walking in saying, "What's wrong?" I was like, "He gone." She was like, "He gone?" He is gone. So that's where I get that hashtag she waited 45 days, hashtag he grieved. So how do I do my grievance process? I take all their strength, I take all their memories, and I put it into one. I have my days, don't get me wrong. Oh, I have my days. Some days, you know, you have where you just cry out of nowhere. Some days you don't even know why you're crying or what made you cry. But you have them, and it's okay to cry. It's okay to let those things out. You sometimes you'll just smell something. Sometimes you will see a car. Because my daddy loved cars. You just see a car. You'll see somebody walking in blue. My mama loved blue. My daddy loved red. Most of the time, when you see me on Facebook, I'm putting a blue heart and a red heart because that's their favorite color. But how I get through the grievance of it all is I had to have a psychiatrist, I had to have a counselor, and I had to have my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for me to get through that because I wasn't ready. And a lot of you are not ready, and I understand that. And some people around you don't understand the grievance because they haven't been through it. But when I tell you that it does get better, you do just go through the motions of life. And you'll go through the motions of life for a long time, not knowing that there's a dark cloud over you, and you don't even know the dark cloud is there. But you just have to keep the faith, keep His grace and mercy, and talk to somebody. Talk to somebody who's going to understand you. Talk to somebody who's going to understand where you're coming from. That's why I have the Grieving Soul page for people to get on there and vent. It's okay to vent. It's okay to scream. It's okay to want to throw something. It's okay to say, you know what, today I'm not doing nothing because I don't feel like doing anything. It is okay because guess what? That's what I do. If I don't want to do something, I am not going to do it. If I want to cry, I am going to cry. And I don't care if I'm riding in my car, if I'm walking in the grocery store. I've been on an airplane and been boo-hooing, and the person next to me is just looking like, what is wrong with this lady? Shh, you don't know my pain. You don't know my story. You don't know my footsteps. You don't understand what I'm going through. So trust me when I say, keep the faith, keep the grace, and most definitely the mercy. Because you're going to need it. And continue to talk to somebody. Write down your feelings. Write down your thoughts. You know, how you feeling that day. Write them down. Every time you feel something, write it down. You have to get it out. Do not keep it balled up inside of you. That's my grieving process. I write. I cry. I think of the good times. I even think of the bad times. But I also, go through pictures to remind me of what such a good time that I did have with both of them. So there is a process, and there is like a long process to grievance. It doesn't have a stopwatch to say, hey, in 2 months you're going to be doing good, or in 3 months you're going to be doing good. Yes, it does get better, but it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. Like, you just pop some popcorn and, I ate it all and it's gone and I can pop another one. No, those feelings going to come. Sometimes you're going to be having a good time, and the next time they're going to be like, this girl got mood swings. I don't care what you feel I have. But something came over to me to where, I'm not having a good time anymore. Because I had a thought, and my mind never stops racing. It never stops racing. What I could have done better. What I should have done. Should I have said